right. Happy Friday, everybody. Nice to see those names up on the screen. I'm happy to have you with me. For anybody who may be joining us, if I'm not, sometimes a little bit hard to catch some names and faces, but welcome. If there's anybody who happened to sneak in under my radar that I don't know, I'm Rachel. I'm a local physical therapist and Pilates instructor. We've got a 45-minute class today, flow style. We won't spend a ton of time on any one particular task. We'll move through them at a pretty flowing manner. If there's anything that doesn't feel good for you in your body on this particular day, every day is potentially different. So no competition, even if you could do it last time and it's not feeling great this time, listen to your body and move at a pace that works for you. You can always stick around on the chat for a couple minutes after class. I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have them, but let's get ourselves moving. If you feel like you would like a towel roll for a little extra padding under your knees when we're on hands and knees later on in the class, you can go ahead and grab it now. You also could always fold your mat up under those knees to give yourself a little extra padding, but I'll give you a second to do that now. And while you do that, grabbing anything you want, I'm going to make my way up to my mat and we'll start standing. All right, that timer is going to be on in just a second as I get it rolling. There we go. We're going to start with our feet just underneath our sit bones. So fairly narrow base of support, hips, feet are lined up. We're going to get our weight centered right over the front of our ankle joints. Let's hold it there. Maybe close your eyes. See how you feel with those eyes closed. We might get a little wobble between the feet, between those toes. Might get a little weight shifting side to side. Just assess your situation. See where you are when you balance yourself there. We can open our eyes now. And let's from here take a big breath in, stretching those arms up and overhead, touching the fingertips together. We'll exhale, bringing everything back down to our sides. One more time. Inhale. Let's reach those arms up overhead. This time we're going to clasp our palms and press them to the ceiling. Get those elbows as straight as you're comfortable getting them. If you get a little pull at the elbows or too much pull under the sides of the arms, you're welcome to take some slack back into the system by giving a little bit of a bend, but do your best to get straight as we can. As those palms reach toward the ceiling, we're going to drop our shoulder blades down to the floor, lengthen that neck. And from here, we're going to take our feet and bring them a little bit further apart. So shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider. We're going to tighten the belly and the spine toward each other, like we're tightening a little seat belt around our waistlines. And let's take a few side bends. We'll test the waters here. Just a little side bend to each top corner of the room. Reach those palms up and overhead to where the wall and ceiling meet. Again, if you find you need to bend your elbows a little bit, that's okay. We're trying to keep that lower half of the body below the waistline nice and still as we move our trunk on that stable base. Maybe we take it a little further now. Take it maybe a couple degrees farther over toward that wall. We can soften up our knees. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, unclasp the hands. Reach those fingers up to the top side of the room. We're going to drop that lower arm on the side we're reaching toward, right toward our feet. Maybe reaching them toward the opposite foot for a little bit deeper stretch. We should feel some muscles working in the trunk, particularly on the side we're moving away from. Let's take a big breath in. We'll reclasp the palms, stretch them to the ceiling, and keeping that core nice and active, we'll take our side bend the other way. Take it a couple degrees further if you have a little more slack to take out. Keeping that core active, we're going to unclasp the hands, reach those fingertips up toward where the wall and ceiling meet. Let's drop that arm on the side we're reaching toward, first down toward our foot on the same side, and then we can reach a little further. Draw those fingertips as far apart as we can from each hand to the other. Feel that length through the top side of the body. We'll inhale up. We'll exhale our arms out till they're shoulder height. We're going to hold it there. We're making kind of a T with our body here. Reach your fingertips away from the center of the body. We're going to feel some warmth. We're going to feel some stretch through that chest. Hold it there. If you have some more room to move, some more slack through those chest muscles, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Feel that stretch in the front intensify. We're going to let those hands pulse toward the wall behind us. Pulse them back for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Take a big breath here, and then exhaling, we'll bring our arms down and let's roll those shoulders up, back, and down through some nice circular motions. Might work out a few crunchies here and there. Not a bad thing. We'll roll for 2 more. Drop those shoulders down. Let's narrow up our base of support again. Heels are again lined up with our sit bones. We're going to shift the weight toward the heels and then toward the toes. Arms are first down by our sides. I want you to feel what you notice. You might notice your legs tightening up in different spots as we hit those end ranges of our base. If we move our hands to our midsection and press those fingertips, press the heels, the hands right into that tissue, we're going to feel some activity through the core. as we shift forward and back through that range. Let's shift right back over those ankles. Soften your knees just a touch, and we're going to move our fingertips to the waistline, thumbs to the back of the waistline. Let's shift the weight from foot to foot now. Feel those muscles tighten underneath your fingertips as we push the floor away with our feet. We're going to feel them working differently. They're working in opposition to each other on either side. As one tightens, the other lets up a little. We can make some circles around that base of support. Same deal. Those hips stay at the same angle to the trunk throughout the motion. So we're moving around our feet as our base. Pause where you are, and then let's circle the other way. Feel each part of your foot make a little bit more firm contact with the floor as we hit those different ranges. Coming right to the center over those ankles again. We're going to move our hands to the sides of the hips, and let's widen up that base a little bit. The feet are underneath the shoulders. Keeping the hands right at the sides of the hips, we're going to tip forward from the trunk. Tailbone goes back to the wall behind us. It's as if we're folding around a line at our hips. Bend the knees just a touch more. We should feel a little bit of activity through those thighs. And we're going to shift our weight again side to side. Feel those glutes work a little bit. Push the floor away as if you were going to move toward a speed skating type of motion. We feel the glutes push into the hand as we load our legs. Switch it side to side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's come right back over both feet equally. We'll come up nice and tall. Let's give those shoulders one more roll back, and we're going to turn 1/4 turn so we're lengthwise on our mat and make our way to the back edge of our mat. A little bit forward of that edge. As we think about making our way toward the floor, if you do have that rolled towel and want it, you're welcome to place it on the mat in front of you now. We're going to take our hands right back to the fold in the hips. And with soft knees, we're going to tip that body forward again. We want to pause, and that trunk is forward enough that we feel some length and some stretch through the back of those thighs. Let's hold that there. Keep the belly engaged, draw it up toward the center of the body, and we're going to lower those hands toward the mat. They're vertically aligned. Shake them out. Make sure gravity's letting them do what they want to do. And let's row. We'll squeeze our blades together and then release them. Squeeze them together and release. Squeeze and release. One more time. Squeeze and release. Keeping those elbows soft, squeeze the blades again. We're going to bring those hands out to the side. See if you can reach them toward a T and then float them down to the mat. Squeeze those blades, arms out to the T. Take them back down. Reverse flies for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take those hands toward the floor. We're going to soften our knees a bit more. Let's make our way down to the floor to hands and knees. Hands come to the mat. Keep the balls of the feet on the floor as we place our knees down on the mat. We can move that towel roll if you'd like it right at the top of the shins. Let's press those big toes into the floor, those pinky toes into the floor. And we're going to curl through cat, drawing the belly toward the ceiling, reversing to cow, tailbone toward the ceiling, breastbone extending slightly forward to the wall in front. Curl to cat, reverse to cow. One more time here, curl and reverse. Let's bring that body right back to neutral. Upper body stays still now as we wag our tail side to side, hip to shoulder toward the screen, hip to shoulder away. One more time to each. Let's come right back to the middle here. We're going to turn the tops of the feet to the floor. Feet come together. Let's bring those knees apart toward the outer borders of our mat. And we're going to press our bottoms down toward our heels. Let's slide or walk our hands toward the front of our mat. We can inch forward just a bit with those fingertips. Respect any tightness that you're feeling through that underside of the chest, through that underside of the shoulder blade. Bend the elbows if you need a little more slack in the system. If you want a little more stretch, keep them straight as long as you can. We're going to press the heels of the hands into the floor. That'll lengthen us a little bit more back into our lower backs. And let's see if we can drop that forehead toward the mat. Hold it here. Take a breath. Exhale. One more time. Big breath in. As we exhale, lower those forearms to the floor. We're going to shift our weight forward over them. Press the shoulder blades to the mat for a nice, firm contact point. And we're going to lower our bodies down till we're resting on our thighs just above those kneecaps. The shoulder blades are now, we're going to squeeze them back in together and press them toward the floor. Squeeze them together, press them toward the floor. We want to try to keep our lower backs as still as we can. We can encourage that by keeping that belly drawn gently up toward the spine and allowing that upper thigh to come up off the floor as we press. One more time, squeeze the blades, press them forward. Let's take a big breath in here. As we exhale, we're going to shift away from our screen, tuck that far arm underneath the body, and let's make our way onto our backs. We'll let that upper body contact the floor first. Bending up the knees, we're gonna line our heels up with our sit bones. We got a couple inches between our hands and our heels. Let's nod the chin toward the neck and then release it just a bit. Nod toward the neck, get that nice length behind the spine and release. One more time, we're gonna exhale, nod the chin. Maintain that chin nod as we think about letting our breastbones get nice and heavy. As we drop that heavy breastbone toward the floor, we're gonna feel the upper part of the back between those shoulder blades anchor firmly into the floor. Keeping those connections, we're gonna draw our bellies gently down to the spine, tightening that same seatbelt muscles we were working on activating when we were standing. We're gonna take our hands down by our sides, take a big breath in. Exhaling, flip your palms up so they face the ceiling. See if you can anchor your thumbs back toward the floor. Straightening out the elbows, let's lift our hands just an inch or two up off the mat till they line up with our body. We're gonna keep that trunk, head, and neck nice and still and move those arms to a snow angel position. Let's inhale the arms out to the sides to shoulder level. We'll take them up and overhead, breathing out. Inhale the arms out to the sides, shoulder level, and then take them down by the body. Repeat through at your own speed, taking them through a range, excuse me, where you can keep that trunk nice and still and that middle back anchored into the floor. We're gonna get maximum stretch, probably right through that middle range, through the outside of those pec muscles. Inhale overhead, exhale them down by the sides. We're gonna flip those palms to the floor and picture that clock face on our pelvis. Let's curl that pelvis to 12 o'clock, pubic bone curling toward the breastbone, 12 o'clock. Reverse it, lengthen that pubic bone down toward the heels for 6 o'clock. Curl to 12, lengthen and release to 6. One more time, curl to 12, lengthen and release to 6. We'll take that pelvis right back to neutral and let's take our hips, or our knees rather, side to side. Wiggle those knees toward the screen, wiggle them away. Side to side. Try a few here. We're picturing 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on that same clock face. Appreciate what your pelvis is doing. It's rolling and rotating with those knees. Can we let the pelvis move with the knees still? Let's bring those knees up till they face the ceiling and rock that pelvis between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. You'll feel your feet press a little bit unevenly in the floor as we work to keep stability through those thighs in the face of a moving pelvis. Let's take everything back to neutral. Hands come right to the hip bones. We're gonna keep that belly drawn in, bring one knee up to 90 degrees. Let's bring the other knee up to meet it in tabletop. I have you keep your hands on your hip bones now. We're gonna move our fingertips into just below that navel. I want you to draw your knees a little closer to the chest, draw that belly button a little closer to the spine. Knees are coming in closer, that decreases the leverage on the core, should make it a little bit easier to access those lower abdominals. Let's see if we can maintain that drawn in navel as we bring our legs back to 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. Let's float the arms to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, reach those blades around the front of the body to the ceiling. Exhale and lower them. Inhale and reach, exhale, lower the blades. Try to keep everything else nice and still. We're moving those shoulder blades on a nice stable chest, nice stable rib cage. One more time, reach to the ceiling. Lower those blades to the floor. We're gonna arc our arms forward till they hover just off the mat. Flip the palms to face the floor and stretch your fingertips toward the wall in front. Maybe we can straighten our knees out a bit, reaching those toes up toward the ceiling. And maybe we can reach them slightly forward so they point toward where the wall and ceiling meet. If we need a kickstand, a little more support, bring one leg down, whether the opposite leg is bent or straight. Let's pat those hands up and down through our 100 breaths, inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. You are welcome to move any pace that works for you, as long as we keep that breath going and do our best to keep the belly drawn down to the spine. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Flip those palms over. We're gonna press the air to the ceiling. Breathe it out. Inhale. If those legs are straight, bring them apart from each other into a narrow V. Mix it up a little bit. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe it out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. It. Exhale. Pause those hands. Pull those knees right back to tabletop and maybe a touch closer to the chest. We're going to flip our palms over. drawing the belly down toward the spine. Let's take your knee closest to the screen, bring it in toward the chest. Keep the hands hovered as we stretch our other leg forward. Hover that heel up off the floor. Inhale the knee in to meet the other knee. Exhale, press the opposite one forward. We can lower our hands to the mat for support. Let's press through alternating legs. Press for 4, press for 3, press for 2, press for 1. Keep that knee closest to the screen, pulled into the chest. Draw it in a little closer with your hands, and we're going to take that opposite leg all the way down to the mat. Tighten up the front of the thigh, and we'll take our bent knee and wiggle it across the body. It's okay if that hip lifts up off the floor. Pull that leg back to the middle. We're going to keep the core engaged as we hover our supporting leg up off the mat. Let's take it side to side and up and down. Keep that tailbone anchored to the floor. We're going to lift that leg up in front of us only as far as we can with a straight knee, and only as far as we can, keeping that trunk and pelvis nice and still. That tailbone should not move. Side to side, up and down. Pause in the hover, and we're going to circle the wall in front of us. Move from that hip joint, reach those toes out toward the wall. Pause, breathing in, and exhaling, we'll circle the other way. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg to the mat one more time. We're going to anchor that quad, heighten it up, anchor the hip down into the mat. Feel a little stretch to the hip flexor even on that straight leg. And we're going to stir that bent knee in a socket a bit. Wiggle it side to side. Take a breath here. As we exhale, we'll bring that knee back to the center. Activate that core a little further, and we'll switch our legs. Pull the other knee in. Slide that opposite leg forward. Lower it to the mat. Give it a little wiggle over toward the screen. Inhale and exhale. Pull back to the center. Keeping that knee pulled in. We'll hover that supporting leg up off the mat. Take it side to side. Pelvis stays still. Lift and lower. Again, keep it within the range where we can keep that leg nice and straight, and where we can keep that tailbone on the floor. Out to the side, back to the center. Lift to the ceiling, exhale and lower. One more time on this side, side to side, up and down. Pause in the hover, and we're going to circle the wall in front. 3, 2, and 1. Breathe it in. Exhaling, reverse it. Here's 4, 3. Keep it going. And 1. Let's lengthen that leg all the way down to the mat. Tap into that hip flexor. Feel it open up. We're going to flip our grip and hold behind the thigh of the pulled in leg. And let's extend that knee. Stretch those toes toward the ceiling. Find the point where you first start to feel that stretch behind that thigh. And then see if you can draw your belly down a little further. We want to keep that core engaged and the pelvis nice and still. Flex and point that foot. Point those toes. Wiggle those toes toward the screen and away. Point those toes to the ceiling. Maybe we add a little slack back in by bending that lifted leg. We're going to take our hands to the floor and take our lifted leg side to side. Go within the range where you can keep that pelvis nice and still, crossing the body as far as you can with stability and lengthening out to the opposite side as far as we can. We'll feel that nice inner thigh stretch. Let's sweep through some circles. Reach the toes to the ceiling. Twice more. Pause at the top, take a breath. As we exhale, we'll take it the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's draw that knee in. Stir it in the socket just a little bit. Take that knee side to side. Coming back to the middle, switch them up. Draw the other knee in. Slide that opposite leg along the floor. We're going to grab on behind the thigh, lengthen that leg up toward the ceiling. Again, putting some slack back in if we need to by bending that knee. Flex and point. Wiggle it side to side. Pointing those toes to the ceiling. Add the slack back in by bending the knee if you need to. Reset that core. Hands come to the sides. Lifted leg goes side to side. You are always welcome to increase that challenge by hovering your supporting leg up off the floor. Out to the side, up and over toward the opposite wall. One more time. Exhale away from center. Inhale back toward the middle, and we'll sweep through our circles. Here's 4, 3, 2. Pause at the top, take a breath. As we breathe out, we'll take it the other way. Here's 4. And 3. 2. 1. Let's hang on behind our thigh. Leave that leg where it is, rolling the shoulders back and down. Drawing the belly in, we're gonna hover our supporting leg up off the floor. Let's switch through. Keeping those knees straight, we'll bring that opposite leg up to meet the first leg. Switch the grip, lower the other one to the hover. Lift, switch and hover. Keep it going at a speed that's working for you. Remember, you can always add that slack back, bend the knee a touch if you need to. You can support your efforts as we bring a leg up by pressing the leg that you're holding onto a little more firmly into those hands. That'll help stabilize. We've got one more on each side. Lift and lower. Let's lift our second leg up to meet the first one. We'll hold on between each thigh, a little closer to the floor versus where the knee is. Draw the belly in a little bit more. We're going to bring those knees right back up to tabletop. Hold them there. Take a breath. As we exhale, let's press our hands into the front of the thighs. Press the knees toward the hands and press the hands back to the thighs. Feel those core muscles activate a little more firmly as we do so. Hold it there. Breathe it in. As we exhale, we're going to take that hand closest to the screen, press it on top of the other hand on the other leg. So we have one free leg. We're going to take that leg, take a big breath in. Exhale, press the leg to the wall in front. Inhale, pull it back to tabletop. Exhale and press. Inhale the tabletop. Exhale and press. Inhale the tabletop. Exhale and press. Inhale the tabletop. Switch it up. Hands come to the thigh closest to the screen. Take that free leg, press it out in front. Inhale the tabletop. Exhale and press. Inhale the tabletop. Exhale and press. Inhale the tabletop. One more time. Exhale, press. Inhale the tabletop. Draw those knees just a touch closer to the chest. We're going to keep that core active. Draw the belly down and let's extend those knees, bring our feet back toward the ceiling. We're shooting for an L from the thighs to the trunk. Again, those knees could be a bit bent if we need some more slack. We're going to glue those feet together, take our hands down by our sides. Let's circle the ceiling. Move those legs together in a circle. You know, it's a Friday morning and you got dressed early when you just realized midday that you're wearing 2 different colored socks. That's hilarious. Pause at the top, breathe it in. Exhaling, we'll take it the other way. Circle for 4. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Press those toes to the ceiling. Hold them there. We're going to bring them in opposite directions of each other. Make those circles on the ceiling. Try to keep that tailbone anchored in the same position as we move those legs. That core is staying engaged. The low back curve is staying nice and still. Let's pause. Feet to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhaling, we'll take them the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's hug those knees into the chest. Give them a nice hug with those arms. We're going to rock that body side to side. Let's come right back to the middle. Roll those shoulders back and down. Press those blades into the floor. Stir those legs in their sockets. And the other way. Coming right back to the middle. We're going to extend those knees back to tabletop. 90-90, arms flow to the ceiling. Drop the blades to the floor. We're going to take that arm closest to the screen, back overhead as we slide our opposite leg forward for a long diagonal reach. Switch it through to the other side. The closer to the floor we reach that outstretched leg, the more leverage and more challenge we're putting on our core. If this feels great, go for it. If you need a little less leverage, press the foot a little closer to where the wall and ceiling meet, or even press toward the ceiling. Stretch them up, switch them out for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's bring those arms to the ceiling, knees to tabletop, flex up those feet. We're going to inhale here and exhale. Lower one or both heels to the floor. Let's inhale them back up to tabletop. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Add the arms overhead. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. The addition is optional. You take it if you need the challenge. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift. Twice more. Exhale, lower. Inhale and lift. One more time. We're going to exhale our heels to the floor. Take those arms back overhead far as you can. Maybe your thumbs reach the floor. If they do, leave them there. If they don't, bring those fingertips back to where the wall and ceiling meet. We're gonna lower our toes to the floor, inch the heels back, lining them up with the sit bones, and take a big breath in. As we exhale, we draw the belly down, we stretch those arms out to the T and then down by our sides. Let's flip our palms over, press them into the floor, and we're gonna rock our knees toward that screen and away, give that low back a little bit of a breather before we move on to bridging. We're gonna be working through those glutes with our next few exercises. If you feel strain in your back with the motion as we move through our bridge, I want you to take it up a little bit less high. Okay, modify, move through the range that works for you. With those heels coming a little closer to the butt, we're gonna take a big breath in. We'll exhale, draw the belly in, press the feet down, lift those glutes up. Find the height of your motion. There's usually a point where we're gonna stop. It's either we're stopping because of glute weakness here, which is okay, or we're stopping because we're getting a stretch through the thighs. That's more of a common thing to see. We keep that belly drawn in, take a big breath, and exhale, lower down. Repeat, move it up and down at a pace that's working for you. I want you to focus on keeping that core engaged, focus on engaging and squeezing those glutes, particularly as we reach toward the top of our motion. And if you still need something to think about after all of those things to think about, we can think about stretching our knees toward the wall in front of us to maintain some thigh length as we take that body up and as we lower it down. We're gonna hold our next bridge up at the top, hold it there. Whatever the top of your motion is where you do not feel strain in the low back, that's where I want you holding it. We're gonna think about keeping those hips right there. Let's go up and down on our toes. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press the heels down, take the knees out away from the center and then back together. Press them away, take them to the center. Press them away, back to the center. One more time, out to the side, back to the center. One knee at a time, one toward the screen and back to the center. One away and back to the center. One toward, back to the center. One away, back to the center. Twice more on each side. Out and in. Last set, out to the side. Back to the middle. Last one out to the side and back to the middle. Take a big breath. On the exhale, we're gonna lower that body to the mat. When those glutes touch the floor, take a big breath in, and we're gonna rock our knees side to side with the exhale. Take a few breaths here, reset. We're gonna do one more set of bridging. This time we're gonna focus on keeping those hips nice and steady as we march. We're gonna try to bring those knees toward tabletop. Coming right back to the center. Let's reset those heels in line with the glutes. Big breath in. Breathing out, let's bridge up and hold. Press your arms into the floor for a little more support. And let's lift and lower one knee. Lift and lower the other. Dig those heels into the floor. That'll keep this exercise in the hips, keep you far less likely to cramp through those hamstrings. Lift and lower, fight for that hip lift. Maybe you need to use your fingertips to just encourage them to come up a little higher. Here's 4. Keep it going, 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's press that foot into the floor. Take a big breath. Exhaling, we're gonna lengthen all the way down to the mat with control. Release the glutes at the bottom. Keep those hips squared off to the ceiling. Cross the leg farther or closest to the screen over the far leg. And we're gonna pull up to figure 4 if you still have a little more room to move. Let's wiggle those hips away from the cross leg side. Rock toward that other wall. We'll come right back to the middle, take that foot down, switch it up, square off those hips, cross the ankle over the knee. Lift to figure 4 if possible, and let's rock toward our screen. One more big breath here. As we exhale, we'll unwind, take those feet to the floor. Let's arc the arms up to the ceiling and all the way back overhead. Hold them there. Stretch them as far back as you can with straight elbows. Maybe that means the thumbs are on the floor. Maybe those arms are reaching toward that back top corner. Slide your legs out straight as you can. We're gonna hold here for a breath. As we breathe out, draw that chin down, drop the breastbone, and draw that belly down toward the spine. Hold as we alternate, lifting one leg up and down and then the other. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Switch for 4, for 3, for 2, And one. Pause with the foot on the floor. Take a big breath. As we exhale, we arc our arms up to the ceilings, down to the mat in front of us. Let's bend up our knees and we're going to roll over to hands and knees. Now's the time to grab that towel roll again if you need it. Place it right under the shin on either side. We're going to settle out with wrists and shoulders, knees and hips lined up. And let's curl through cat and reverse to cow. Again, curl through cat, reverse to cow. Take it back to neutral. Wag your tail side to side. Coming back to the middle, we'll move to shoulder taps. Take a hand to the opposite shoulder and repeat on the other side. We can move ourselves a hand's width forward. Feel the difference as we add a little more rotational challenge. Maybe we come forward toward a high plank on the knees. Maybe we turn our toes under and come up to a high plank. Wherever we are, we tap for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Hands are down. We come back down to hands and knees. Knees are under the shoulders. Keeping that core engaged, squeeze and press through those blades. Squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. 2 more. Squeeze and press. Let's go to single arm. Take one hand up to the thigh. Square off those hips to the mat and we'll squeeze and press through our opposite shoulder blade. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Switch it up. Opposite hand to the thigh. Keep those shoulders squared off to the floor as we press for 4. Press for 3. Here's 2. And 1. Bring that second hand down. Let's take that leg closest to the screen, back behind the body and the opposite arm forward. Switch it through to the other side. If you had something balanced in the small of your back, the goal here would be able to move those limbs without disturbing whatever was on your back and trunk. Move it through at a pace that's working for you. Maybe we hold, switch the arms. Keep that leg nice and still as we switch for 4, for 3, for 2. Hold with the same side arm and leg lifted. Maybe we can turn our body toward that screen. Rotate that breastbone. Rotate it back. Take the hand down. Take that leg down. We'll switch to our opposite diagonal. Leg back, arm forward. Switch the hands. Switch them off for 4. For 3. For 2. For 1. Maybe we hold, maybe we rotate that breastbone toward the opposite wall. I'm going to move away from my screen. You turn in the direction that makes sense. Rotate back. Take the hand down, take that knee back down, curl to cat, and reverse to cow. Again, curl and reverse. Take it back to neutral with that belly drawn in. We're going to walk ourselves just a touch further forward on our mat. We're going to straighten one leg out, bring the other one to high plank. Take that tailbone to the ceiling, rock back toward the heels, lining up your elbows with your ears as best you can. Keep the core engaged as we walk our hands toward our feet. It's perfectly fine to bend those knees. We're going to come up nice and tall, roll those shoulders back, take a big breath. Soften the knees, hands come to the hips. We're going to fold forward, take our hands back to the floor. Again, bend the knees if you need to. We're going to walk right back through that upside down V position. Take it forward to plank. Take that tailbone to the ceiling. Last one through. We're going to walk our hands toward our feet. Soften the knees, get the weight over the ankles. Take yourself up nice and tall. Big breath in as we roll the shoulders back and down. Soften the knees on the exhale. Hands to the hips, tip forward. We're going to take ourselves down, walk through that upside down V again if we can. Take it forward through plank. Take those knees back down. We're going to bring our feet together and our knees apart from the tops of the feet to the floor. Press that bottom down toward the heels and walk the hands forward toward the front of your mat. Drop that forehead. Stretch your shoulder blades forward and wrap them around the front of the body. Let's walk the hands toward the screen. Take a big breath in. Breathing out, we'll walk them the other way. Again, big breath in. Exhaling, let's take those arms forward. We're going to slide ourselves back up to hands and knees, reset your padding if you need it. And we're going to curl ourselves up to a kneeling position. Hold it here. Curl that pelvis under, pubic bone toward breastbone. Lean back into those thighs. Feel your thighs working. And we'll inhale up tall. Exhale, lean it back. Inhale up tall. Twice more. Exhale, lean. Inhale up tall. Exhale, lean it back. Inhale up tall. Roll those blades back and down. Flip the palms toward the wall in front. And we're going to take our hands back to the wall behind us. We should feel a stretch through the chest, a squeeze in those blades. Pulse your pinkies toward each other. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to take ourselves down to our mat, sitting lengthwise. Feet are right in front of us. Heels line up with those sit bones. And let's take our hands to the outsides of the thighs. Keep that belly drawn in. We're going to press our hands and thighs toward each other as we lean back. We should feel some activity in that core as we do so. We're going to open that arm closest to the screen, out to the side. Take it back to that knee. Press the other one out. Inhale to the knee. Exhale, reverse opposite arm out. Inhale to the knee. Exhale, opposite arm out. Take it to the center. We're going to repeat for 4. For 3. Press those hands into the leg. Here's 2. And 1. Let's come up nice and tall. Roll those shoulders back and down for 3, for 2, and 1. Let's make our way all the way down to our side. We're going to rest on one arm. Knees are forward, heels line up with those rear ends. Lift up your waistline. Take my little toy train. Drive it underneath that waistline curve. And with the belly engaged, we're going to take our top hand to the floor and lift those knees up and down. We're going to shoot for 6 of each of the exercises on our sides. If you need to go a little quicker, a little slower, to keep adequate challenge, you do what works best for you. Here's 2. Here's 1. Knees come down, lift that top leg alone up and down. Here's 4. If it helps you to have your hand on your abs, that's fine. 2. And 1. Knees come down, keep that waistline lifted. Lift the feet, take them up and down. Here's 4. 3. 2. Lift and hold the feet. Top knee presses up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold them up there. Straighten and bend the top knee. Straighten and bend the bottom knee. It's completely fine to have that top hand on the floor for a little support. Straighten and straighten. Take it up and switch. 1 more each. Straighten and bend. Let's press our top hand into the mat. Maybe we straighten and bend both. 5. Here's 4. Here's 3. Top glutes burning now, just a little. And 1. Feet together. Top knee comes down. Bring the feet down. Fire hydrants. Good. Keep that waistline up. 2. And 1. Back to hip height. Hinge the knee forward. Press it back, keeping it bent. Swing it forward. Press it back. 3 more. Press. Here's 2. And press. Here's 1. And press. Bring that leg in line with the bottom leg. Straighten them both out. Press that bottom leg into the floor. Top leg comes up and down. Here's 4. 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height. Swing it forward and back. Forward and back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I lost my AirPod. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Take it up and down. 4, 3, 2. Hold it up there. Bottom leg comes up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take those legs down. Bend up the knees. Give your hip a pat. We'll take that top arm forward. We're going to inhale that arm to the ceiling. Take it back to the wall behind us. Look over that shoulder. Feel that stretch through your trunk. Take it through a comfortable range. We'll inhale it to the ceiling and exhale it forward. All right, let's come up and over and do this all over again on our other side. We're in that home stretch. Let's bring that body down to the mat. Rest on the bottom arm, knees are forward, heels line up with those rear ends. Lift up the waistline, press your top hand into the mat, and we take it up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, clamshells. Reset the waistline as you see fit. 3, 2, and 1. Take the knees down, lift the feet and lower the feet. Keep that waist lifted. Here's 3. Here's 2. Hold them up there. Top knee comes up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that knee up there. We're going to straighten and bend our top knee. Straighten and bend the bottom. Straighten and bend. Repeat. Here's 3, and 3, 4, and 4. 2 more, and straighten. Top leg, bottom leg. Touch those toes. Press your top hand in the mat. We'll straighten and bend them both best you can. Good. Here's 4. Feel that top hip. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Toes touch, knee comes down. Let's bring our feet down. Keep that waistline lifted, moving to fire hydrants. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1 to hip height. Swing it forward and back. Forward and back. Swing and press. Swing and press. Twice more. Press it back. Last one. Press it back. Bring that top knee forward. Hold it there. Straighten the legs out. Reset that waistline. Take it up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it up there. Swing it forward and back. Forward and back. Swing. Take it back. Swing. Take it back. Last 2. Last one. Swing it back. Line up the top leg with the body. Take the bottom leg up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everything comes down. Bend those knees up. Give your hip a little pat, and let's take that top arm forward. Reach it toward the screen. Inhale the arm up. Open the book. Look over that shoulder, reaching that top arm toward the wall. Inhale, arm up, and exhale it down to the mat. Good job. Let's take ourselves onto our backs. Once we're there, let's give those knees a hug into the chest. Rock that body side to side. Coming right back to the middle, we'll roll the shoulders back and down. Cross one leg over the other. Pulling into figure 4 with the breath. Exhale. Uncross, switch it over to the other side. Pulling that knee in for figure 4. Big breath. Breathe it out. Let's unwind. Feet come to the floor. We're going to turn ourselves over to hands and knees. Get situated. We'll do a cat. We'll do a cow. Turn the tops of the toes under. And we're going to press our way up to our feet. Line up over those ankles before we stand up nice and tall. We'll come right to the center. Face that screen. Shake everything out of touch. We're going to work through some balancing. If you do need to find something stable to hold on to, now's a great time to find it. A wall, a sofa back, or a chair work great. Table. We're going to line our weight up over those ankles. Hands to the hips. Shift the weight to one side. Get your weight right over the front of that one ankle joint. And we're going to stand heel toe with the opposite foot in front. Hold here. Turn that head. Look forward again. Look up. And look forward again. Shift the weight to the back leg. Rise up into single leg balance. Hold it here. Hold. Hold. Hold for 3. Hold for 2. Hold for 1. Let's take that foot down. Shift the weight to the other side. Load the front of that ankle joint. Once we're all the way over it, we'll take our opposite foot in front. Balance heel toe. Add those head turns. Look toward that front wall. Shift the weight back. Unload. Let's lift into single leg balance. Hold. Hold. Hold for 3. Hold for 2. Hold for 1. Good job. Let's take those feet apart. Bring them a little wider apart than the shoulders. Shake out those legs. Keep that core engaged as we quiet down our legs. We'll take a big breath in. Clasp the palms, press them to the ceiling, and let's drop those shoulders down. We'll finish the way we started with a couple of tall side bends. Up and over toward where the wall and ceiling meets on either side. Keep that lower half of the body nice and still. Let's reach those hands to the ceiling. We're going to unclasp the palms, reach those fingertips up, and we'll take our feet together. Inhale, and let's exhale into our center. Well, we finished up today. Excellent work, everybody. Thanks for joining, and I look forward to seeing y'all next time. Hope you have a really great weekend.